do it.
You dicks, what the fuck were you thinking? You make some kind of secret agreement with the Italians. You're out there measuring your dicks with the Italians, seeing who's got the biggest dicks. You're out there stroking your dicks over the Columbus statue. My dick is bigger than yours and the Italians. I have the biggest dick in Chicago. Good evening, Chicago, and welcome to another Tuesday night edition of Chicago Corner. And yes, sadly, Mayor Lightfoot's big dick is back in the news. But before we go into our first story regarding that, as much as I know so many of us do not want to imagine that image in our heads, I want to welcome my wonderful colleagues and co-host, Mr. Kit Cabello.
Salutations, everyone. Before you introduce Edward, I was driving down Lakeshore Drive, and I swear to God, I saw some dude wagging his dangling in front of everybody, and I said, Lightfoot, is that you? He said, yes, acknowledge it. Biggest dick in Chi-Town.
Whoa! She followed us here.
Put away!
Ed, did you have anything to do with that?
I am going to plead the fifth on that, Mr. Vasilatos.
Hey, before we get into the first story, I want to share a police story from last night. First of all, gentlemen and viewing audience, are you all keeping track of renewing your license plate stickers?
Oh, I did that already.
You did?
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys, did you get a notification by mail?
They don't like to do that anymore.
No, they don't.
So I got pulled over last night.
Oh, fuck no.
I got pulled. So my tags expired March 31st, and I didn't know because I didn't get a notice in the mail. Okay. And I was rushing to get home. I got pulled over by the police in my alley right as I was opening my garage door. And the officers got out of the car, and I want to say, very polite, very cordial. I appreciated how friendly they were. Given how we complain about the bad ones, we know there are good ones too.
Yeah, there are good ones. Okay.
There are good ones. And they said, you kind of rushed around that corner on Arthur. You didn't really come to a complete stop. You didn't put on your turn signal when you entered your alley. And I'm like, I know, because I'm like trying to get into my house to go to the bathroom. And, he's like, that's cool. Let me see your, plates and license and registration. So he tells me that your plates are expired. I'm like, no, that can't be, because I bought a new city sticker and I thought that was all connected. Anyway, I pulled the registration down and I saw the expiration. I said, officer, I did not get a notification in the mail. I'm really sorry. I didn't know. And he said, no, that's all right. I'm not going to cite you for that. They're not sending notifications out anymore. And I said, well, my first stop tomorrow will be the Secretary of State's office over in Elston, and I'll go renew my license plate tag. So they loved my sticker on the back of my Jeep that said, don't blame me, I voted for Bernie. And we actually got into a political conversation because they were Bernie supporters.
What?
Yes.
No. Get out of here.
Cheers.
All right, cheers. There we go. Wine with a little bit of whiskey.
There you go. I got my Jack and Coke ready here. So we had about 5 minutes of good political conversation. They were big Bernie supporters. We talked about how Hillary and Barack had helped rig the last primary by getting Klobuchar and Buttigieg to drop out. And they let me go, and I said, I promise tomorrow. And they're like, no, we understand. It's no big deal. Just, don't swing around your corner as fast as you do. And my garage door was open. That's what was funny, because they asked where I lived, and I'm like, right there. I was just about to pull into my garage. So I go to the Secretary of State's office today, and I have my registration, the card from last year. And I give it to the lady at the counter, and she can't find my license plate in the system. And it's not her. I mean, well, I won't say what it is, but it's an anagram for Chicago Bat, and I'm not going to explain that one. But she can't find the license plate as I shortened it in the system, and she tells me to go to Specialty Services. So I go to Specialty Services, and I'm probably there almost an hour waiting. And the guy gets it, and he enters it in the system. He's like, Mr. Vasilatos, I'm really sorry. Did you ever get your did you ever get your title? Because when I got the car last year, I went and registered for the vanity plates. I said, I think I did, but I don't remember exactly. He's like, well, yeah, you got the sticker in the mail, but we don't think you got your title because downstate, even though they entered the information in the system, they never pushed enter at the end to issue you your title and notifications that you're supposed to renew your license plate sticker. And I said, well, the cops told me, they don't send out notices anymore. And he's like, well, no, we do. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll go on what you're saying, but what am I supposed to do? Well, I just put it in the system. You have to come back tomorrow, 24 hours when you're in the system, and then it'll be in the system so that you can pay for your new license plate sticker. And I'm just like, from
bureaucracy.
Well, the bureaucracy, the thing is, Kit, that I wonder is that I suspect, I understand they probably want to save money on postage, not notifying people. But there's a lot of tickets to give out if you miss it and don't keep track and you go more than 5 days like I have, since it just expired at the end of March and the police were lenient and forgiving in not issuing me a citation after the conversation we had. So when I was asking you guys if you got notifications, and Secretary of State's office said, yeah, they do send out notifications, but CPD says, no, they don't send out notifications. And I looked online and it seems that people aren't getting mailed notifications. I guess that's a different issue as to the fact that somebody didn't push enter last year to finalize what I needed to have everything processed properly. But, the whole point of the story was CPD was very polite. The officer came up to the car, said, we're on police camera here now. I appreciate it. He announced that. And we had, and he said, I'm not going to cite you. You've actually been really polite. And I'm like, well, I have nothing to be impolite over. It was an honest mistake. I didn't know about the plate tags, and I apologize, but I got to get to the bathroom. That's why we're sitting in the alley here, so they let me go. But I guess the whole point is that, as I've emphasized in the past, look, as hard as we come down on the bad cops, we know and hold out hope that there are good ones that, are doing the best they can. And I like to think that the guys I had the interaction with last night are of that quality, although it did flash through my mind, I am of a lighter skin color. I don't want to say that changed the situation in my neighborhood, but you never know. As I asked Ed once in a previous broadcast, I said, do you ever get nervous getting pulled over by the police? And he said, no. And I said, I don't either. But then I did. Do you? Do you get nervous when you get pulled over?
Yeah, and I'll tell you an incident that happened. So this was when we were doing the show very late at night for Heartland's Media. So only OG members will remember this one. We used to do a show at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I came home very late at night, and I was driving my old BMW car at the time, and I was in the car. My garage door doesn't open automatic; it's manual, so I got to go inside and all that other stuff. So I got the caution lights on, I go inside my garage, and I'm about to park my car in. I open the door. All of a sudden, I see this big SUV just push up right up to me so close, and I'm trying to park my car, and it's following me, and I get out and I say, hey dude, what's your problem? The guy rolls, and I realize I recognize what kind of vehicle this was. It was an armored SUV.
Did they have the headlights on?
Yeah, really bright too.
When they pulled up behind me, there were no headlights. I didn't even know they were there. That's
so I'm realizing, oh shit, these are fucking cops. And the guy literally he's looking out the window and says, what the fuck are you doing? And I said, I'm parking my car. He says, why was your car in the middle of the alleyway like this? Because I'm trying to park it in my garage. He says, well, it looks suspicious as fuck. And I was like, okay.
Very belligerent and comment escalation. Yeah, that's an escalation. That's what we're talking about.
I was really nervous, right? And I just wanted to park my car. I was like, all right, sorry, officer, but I realized that, if I was a different skin color, I know for a fact things would have gone different. And I was like, look, I apologize. I'm gonna park my car. I don't have an automatic, all that kind of good stuff. So, I didn't want to deal with anything because both of them were fucking roided up.
We see that a lot in the stories we report. It's that whole up attitude.
And I'm thinking oh shit, please don't get out of your vehicle, because already it was a loose fight already.
So you were nervous, yeah. Well, I get that.
I was, and I was like, and as I parked my car in the garage, they roll their SUV right in front of my garage. I'm hesitant to get out of my car, and they're staring fucking right at me, and I'm just thinking Okay.
It's intimidating. It's almost trying to like make you nervous to make a mistake, which gives them the excuse to say, "Oh, they made me nervous. I feared for my life." Bang bang.
Yeah, and
Dead.
and so they're just staring right at me because the thing is, I had to get out of my car to go in my garage, open the garage door so I can get in my car, so I can put my car in the garage, and it was it was a little intimidating. I'm like, holy shit! And as they drove off, they're driving off slow. I'm thinking, just wait, just to get out your car. And as soon as I felt it was safe enough, I did get out, and I'm thinking, if I was a different skin color, things would be so different. And I'm like, that's and look, while to many that's not really an engaging story. It's like it's like dusting the surface, not even scratching, dusting the surface off of just what's really wrong with a lot of the police forces. And I'm just like, it's got to park my car in the garage. Some people don't have automatic garage door openers, so I don't know.
Some people don't have garages.
Yeah. Some cops are good natured, and others are roided up looking for confrontation. That's
true. And I'm a South Sider through and through, so I know there's a lot of problems on the South Side, but God Almighty. So
some are good and are fine, upstanding examples of a citizen service or something.
Yeah. So that's my story with the CPD, but I mean that's only one story. I mean, we've covered one time when we were covering the Laquan McDonald protest, when it was finally, when what's his name? God, why is the guy's name escaping my mind?
Oh, you're talking about the cop, Van Dyke?
Yeah, Van Dyke. So when Van Dyke was sentenced, there was this big celebratory protest, and as we were marching down Michigan Avenue, this one cop was on this one little girl and her mother, and he was kind of like pushing them and almost pushed them down the ground. And that's another incident I saw. I was nowhere near it, but I was filming, live streaming on Facebook when it was going down. So that's just another incident. So, those are my two stories of seeing kind of cops being a little bit out of hand. But I know there's plenty of good cops out there, but it does make a difference out there in this world.
Well, and another part of me thought, I'm glad that they're patrolling the neighborhood. I mean, at least it's nice to know that they were here, as opposed to you have to call them and wonder if they're going to show up when you hear people outside your window.
Yeah, but patrolling the neighborhood for what exactly? Were they there? Was it an unmarked car?
It was an unmarked. It was one of those unmarked SUVs. Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe they were looking for dealers.
Yeah. And yeah. So there we go. We got Oreo in the house. There we go.
Here's in the house. So shall we get to Mayor Lightfoot's big dick?
Getting back to the license plate thing really quick.
Oh, go ahead.
I did check my email to see. They were still sending out. The state was sending out email notices.
Okay.
If you're signed into that system, I don't know if you have to sign up ahead of time, but
that's probably what it is, because I'm always used to getting them in the postal mail, and if they stopped, I guess I would imagine that they would tell you when you're at the office, because I got no notification by mail that I had the option, or maybe I did. Maybe a notification said you should sign up by email.
And you probably can get that information at the Illinois Secretary of State license renewal page, which I believe is at ilsos.gov, and then you have to go there to find out where the license renewal service, driver services page is.
Well, Dominic shares in the live chat, my notification came after notified for the emissions test and took it. After I took it, I was informed that my tag was due for renewal. I got the tag just around the corner of the test facility. I got my emissions test last year, so I haven't gotten a notification for the new emissions test. But yeah, I don't doubt that, Dominic. Maybe that would have happened if I'd gone in for an emissions test and they would have reminded me. So, you are cruel. You're a cruel man, Ed.
Hey, yo, Edward, what the hell?
What are you talking about?
No pizza, man. Come on, dude. Come on.
It's National Deep Dish Pizza Day, gentlemen.
That's how.
It's National Deep Dish Pizza every day over here on Chicago Corner. We know that.
That's true. That is true. Maybe we'll talk about it later in the show.
I think we will, after you've made us all hungry. So, shall we talk about Mayor Lightfoot's big dick again? Do we want to? Unfortunately, we have to, as it relates to this story from the Park District, or related to the Park District, that wants...
Yeah.
Ah!
Put that thing away before you get us all killed.
So the Park District wants to seal the lawsuit involving Lightfoot's salty language and bragging to the Park District official that filed suit against her. That would suggest that there's something to hide. But let's go into the story from Fox 32 News and hear what they have to share, and then we can talk about it. After the commercial.
We'll filibuster with the commercial. So, anyways,
20
Mayor Lori Lightfoot is apparently pulling it on out, wagging her dangling around, and telling people that she's got the biggest dangling wangling in town. So there we go.
All right, we're down to 7, 6, 5,
4,
3, 2,
1.
Take it away, Fox
The Chicago
32.
Park District filed a motion to try to seal a lawsuit involving Mayor Lightfoot. It includes allegations that the mayor berated an attorney and used obscene language in a Zoom call about a Christopher Columbus statue. The Chicago Park District told us the lawsuit is about protecting attorney-client privilege.
Okay, yeah. It's about protecting attorney-client privilege. It's about hiding what she said. It's about covering up the fact that she's an arrogant, thin-skinned bully.
Vaccine is our best shot
Oh.
at beating the pandemic. Getting to our new.
Even though I got rid of that screen, we had another commercial pop up. Yeah, so that's what it's about. It's about trying to cover up a story here. Go ahead, Kit.
It shouldn't surprise us that Lightfoot is this kind of person who wants to bully people, harass people, constantly berate people down. This is why, again, she cannot, under any circumstances, be reelected as mayor of the city of Chicago, because that's going to give her an unjustified ego boost to keep on implementing a lot of these neoliberal policies that's going to affect schools, the south side, the west side, the north side. It doesn't matter what part of the city you're going to live in. You're going to feel the wrath of Mayor Lightfoot as she wants to continue gentrification, continue allowing political corruption to happen, police corruption to continue to happen. And look, there are good officers out there. Let's be clear about that, all right? There are. But how can you, again, have good officers when you're going to have a city government, especially this mayoral administration, that's going to allow police corruption and political corruption to continue to run rampant? Lightfoot ran on reform. She lied to the voting base. She has continued to ignore and abuse the plights that's happening in the south and west side neighborhoods. There's still lead in Chicago's drinking water. Chicago public schools are still struggling. When it was still winter, Jerry, Edward, both of you covered stories on this channel about how, again, the city snowplows were not plowing out the streets for the Chicago public schools. And that goes from the north side all the way to the west side to the south side of Chicago. So I want to hear this crap about Lightfoot somehow thinking that she's a good mayor, because if she gets reelected, it's going to be worse. It's going to be punishment for the people of the city of Chicago. Now, I dread to think who her replacement is, but at this point in time, we cannot afford a Lightfoot reelection, because it's going to really boost up this thin-skinned mayor who obviously cannot take criticism, cannot take any kind of advice whatsoever, and is putting in people in key administrative positions who don't live in our city.
Well, as we're going to move on to another story, she's wholly overcompensating for everything that you just presented, which is true. Gregory Pratt,
Get that dangling away, Lightfoot.
Gregory Pratt at the Tribune goes on to continues to report that Lightfoot has broadly blasted the complaint as "quote unquote" wholly lacking in merit and called his claims ridiculous. Well, then, why would you want to seal the lawsuit? The Park District argues that the case should be sealed to protect its interests, as it defends a separate lawsuit brought by an Italian-American group over Lightfoot's removal of a Columbus statue in Little Italy. I'm sorry, Chicago Park District. Buck the fuck up. Okay? This is meant to protect the mayor. It is rare for a whole case to be sealed from public view, experts said. Mike Rathsack. Oh, yes, that is his name, Rath. I thought it said Ratsack, but Mike, which would be wholly appropriate.
Come on, Jerry, you're better than that.
When we're talking about the mayor's junk. A veteran appellate lawyer said the significant public interest in a case involving taxpayer-funded entities is another hurdle the Park District would have to clear. If I was a judge sitting on this case, the fact that it's a fight between public entities would give me even more pause before I put a blanket on the whole thing, Rathsack said. Enrico Mirabelli, attorney for the Italian Americans group that is also suing the city, said the request to seal an entire court file is a drastic measure and does little to promote transparency in the litigation or the manner in which the Columbus statues were removed.
I like your Italian accent right there. Thank you very much. As a fellow Italian, well done.
The
He's
lawsuit
got a special way with the garlic. He uses a razor blade. And
Yes.
Yes.
so that it dissolves when we cut it in the prison.
When it hits the pan,
hold on.
it just dissolves.
Hold on. But I want my steaks medium rare. Why? Because I'm an aristocrat, you see.
The lawsuits by Mr. Smirniotis and the Italian Americans both seek the truth about the mayor's statements and her actions, and any attempts to cloak one of the proceedings in secrecy does damage to the public's right of access to the judicial system, Mirabelli said. So, yeah, well, let me move on to the next story regarding our beloved Mayor Lightfoot that wants to cover up what's going on over there. Let me cue it up here. Okay, we got video with this one too. She wants to cover stuff up. She doesn't want her bad side to show, but she's basically following Willie Wilson's lead now, buying votes and offering dollars for to curry favor with Chicago's electorate. Let me play this video. If we don't have another commercial, come on. Of course we do.
Pause it. All right, here I'll filibuster. So, look, guys, when I was making the sauce, I put in 3 whole garlics, but I used 2 big cans from Costco. You see, 2 big cans. All right. Don't. Oh, wait. Don't put Vinny. Don't put too many onions in the sauce. I used 3 onions. How many cans of sauce did you use? I used 2 big cans. He used 2 big cans. It's fine. He got them from Costco.
Like what?
Those fine.
Those big 10-pound cans or those 28-ounce cans?
That was
Goodfellas.
Yeah, it was Goodfellas. Oh, that prison scene always gets me hungry, man.
This commercial intermission brought to you by Flavor Improving Mugs, the mugs that improve flavor.
And Archer is saying, keep stirring the sauce. We will.
You know, I was working on a project for a client here where I was doing a lot of busy work, and I've got the app called Voodoo. And they offer the old show Crime Story for free with commercials on the Voodoo app. And I'd never watched. I was an extra on Crime Story. I actually caught myself. I think it was like in the first episode. But I started watching the series because I'm a fan of Dennis Farina. And I didn't realize that Ray Luca in Crime Story, which was the lead mobster, was inspired by Anthony Spilotro, Tony the Ant, that Joe Pesci played in Casino. That's why I was bringing this all around to Goodfellas and Casino.
Wow.
Yeah, so Crime Story was actually borrowing quite liberally from mob history as they went into Las Vegas, and very, very loosely, and some of the characters and situations were loosely based on real life. That just reminded me of that. But you know, Crime Story is worth revisiting. Dennis Farina was great. Nice look at Chicago during that era, as produced by Michael Mann. Anyway, let's get back to Mayor Lori Lightfoot trying to steal Willie Wilson's thunder by offering perks for votes.
I urge every resident and every business to sign up your home security camera.
You see them wherever you look in Chicago, thousands of surveillance cameras pointing in every direction.
But the mayor and police superintendent are urging residents and businesses to put up more, calling them an important crime-fighting tool.
Dane Placco reports it's one of several public safety initiatives announced today, including a huge gun buyback.
We are headed in the right direction. We have seen a downturn in homicides, in shootings, and carjacking. Now, be clear, no one's taking a victory lap.
With violent crime stats down slightly so far this year, the mayor and Chicago's top cop are rolling out a series of initiatives aimed at incentivizing businesses and residents to help do their part. And they're putting the focus on surveillance cameras.
Video is a crucial part of solving all crimes, but particularly homicides and shootings.
The city has earmarked $5 million to offer rebates on surveillance camera systems and Ring doorbells purchased by residents and businesses up to $225 apiece. There will also be rebates for outdoor motion sensor lighting and motor vehicle tracking devices. And the city is encouraging residents and businesses to register those surveillance cameras on a Chicago police database.
Because, you know,
there it is.
The police can't be everywhere, despite all the overtime.
What this does is give us a tool that when something happens in a particular location, detectives and other police officers will know where to look to find camera footage.
Lightfoot also announcing that fundraising is underway to raise $1 million for the largest gun buyback program in city history. While some studies have shown that most guns turned in at such events are old or broken, the mayor says getting even one gun off the streets before it kills someone is worth the money and effort. The city says if you enroll your home surveillance system with the Chicago Police database, it does not give the cops an instant look at your camera. They still need to ask your permission.
Oh, Ball! I'm calling Ball!
Chicago.
I thought
I'm calling Ball on that! And I'll tell you why.
It depends on the
Can
camera.
I get a minute? Can I get a minute for this?
Go ahead.
Hold on, I'll tell you why. Well, first of all, there's this little shocking thing called, the NSA, and, they're listening to everything. Hi, Johnny. Hi, Billy. How you doing? Those are my two agents. How you guys doing? Hey, guys. So lovely to see you. There's no way you're going to tell me the CPD won't be able to look into people's homes, or not look at people's, but be able to have access to those cameras. Come on, don't give me that crap. Don't give me that crap. Don't give me that. No. Even if it's on the outside, I don't believe it.
All right, so let's unwrap this though for a moment, okay? People should have home security systems like this, right?
True. Yeah, I agree.
But if all this shit like the gun buybacks and paying people rebates for camera security systems and all of this reactive response now were important, isn't it interesting that she's rolling it out now? She didn't roll it out when she got into office, right?
Yeah, she should have done that.
Now, council members, this comes from Fox 32 also. Council member, I can't stand this. I hit the page. Okay. Council members who have not yet approved the parade of mayoral giveaways, and that's what they are, were suspicious of the mayor's motives. There's a pattern here. It's Christmas in April, said downtown Alderman Brian Hopkins of the Second, who is mulling a campaign for mayor against Lightfoot. These generous giveaways using taxpayer dollars are an obvious attempt to buy favorable support. We're getting into campaign season. That changes everything. She's a politically unpopular mayor. That's a fact. Whether she can gain support in the city council for what may be an obvious political ploy remains to be seen. Alderman Roderick Sawyer of the 6th, another potential mayoral challenger, found out about the latest freebie after a briefing on the gas card and venture card giveaways. During at least one of the briefings, suspicious alderpersons demanded to know whether the cards being customized for the city or the brochure sent out with the cards will include Lightfoot's name or a personalized message from the mayor. I'm already getting personalized emails and fucking text messages from the mayor right now. And
I got some too. She said, Kit, we need your help.
Yes.
Trying to do it like, fuck you. I'm not going to help you, lady.
I can't do it alone, Mr. Cabello. We need all the help that we can get, and it's a team effort. And I can't use any of that.
Put your dick away. I don't want to see it right now.
I can't use any of that money I'm saving from the TIF funds because I want to put a bean on top of the other bean in Millennium Park, and if I take the funds, I won't be able to do that, and so I have to ask for your help. I need your help, Mr. Cabello.
No, Lightfoot, zip up your pants. I don't want to look at your dang-a-lang-wang-a-lang, okay?
Okay, goodbye.
Well done, Ed. I think that she and Nancy Pelosi have the same marketing people begging for money because her fundraising entreaties remind me very much of the ones I used to get from Nancy Pelosi. So Sawyer went on to say if the brochure sent out with the cards will include Lightfoot's name or a personalized message from the mayor, if they do, there could be a significant city council opposition, sources said. we're just giving away everything. I just don't think that's the proper way to govern, giving stuff away. I have a real problem with it, Sawyer said. Well, okay, no, they should be providing support, just not when it's convenient for them to curry favor for votes. Yes, Willie, I'm talking to you too. Although he's not using public money, he's using his own money.
Yeah,
we should make life better for everyone, not just give away some trinkets and make people feel better. That's not real relief. That's a temporary fix. That's a Band-Aid. Mayoral challenger Paul Vallis branded Monday's security cam rebate the latest political act of desperation by a mayor destined to serve just one term. Let me also remind people regarding Paul Vallis's record when he was superintendent of public schools. There were a lot of sex scandals that got brushed under the rug then too. So Vallis is no white knight in shining armor on a horse to come in and save us with his criticisms. Instead of giving stuff away, Vallis urged Lightfoot to provide broad-based relief by canceling the automatic escalator that ties annual property tax increases to the rate of inflation. I'm sorry, Ed, you were going to say?
Let's make it clear to everyone out there. Look, if you can get a rebate, if you can get money back, go ahead and do it.
Go for it. What we're doing though, everybody, is we're exposing. We don't even have to expose the motives. Okay, I think we're all smart enough. Our viewers are smart enough to understand what's going on. If she's doing it, take advantage of it. But vote for who you want to vote for, not the person who just decided to roll out this relief as it suits and serves herself as we go into another mayoral campaign. I think that's the point we want to make. Art Sayers, Lightfoot is under the impression she's doing a good job. Dana Fairbanks. Hey, Dana. Nice to see you back. Welcome to 1984. Art, Lightfoot is using the RING program to justify spending with federal money that is supposed to go to communities, but instead going to grease the machine. That's the Amazon. Oh, yeah, the Amazon Ring with the doorbell and the camera. Which I wonder if that's also tied in with national security, since Bezos doesn't Bezos sit on the NSA? National Security?
No, it's with the CIA.
CIA, yeah. He's done a deal with the CIA, which is why I don't have which one? I don't have either of them, but which is the one from Amazon that sits in your home?
It's not Siri. It's
Alexa.
Alexa.
Yeah.
Oh, I never told you guys this. One time we were at a house party at Kira's old place, and it was Daniel and a whole bunch of us. We were there chilling, and they had Alexa there, and I actually asked Alexa, "Hey Alexa, is the CIA spying in on us right now?" And it took almost Alexa a minute to respond, because we were all just looking at it like, it was just like, we don't do that. And it was like, what took you so long?
Interesting that they had an answer for it, though, programming. Yeah. Okay, so Vallis went on to say she has absolutely no answer
to us.
She has absolutely no answer to the public safety challenges the city is facing, so she resorts to these gimmicks. It's questionable use of stimulus money, and once again, disrespecting the city council, doing things unilaterally without even consulting the city council, Vallis said. But she's not manipulating or distorting crime data. She's resorting to meaningless things that are more PR than substantive, like handing out these cameras. Well, she's not handing out the cameras. You buy the camera, they give you the rebate. It's clear. I've got two. I wonder how I'm going to qualify if I still don't have the receipts. It's clearly a political act of desperation and further evidence that they absolutely do not know what they are doing. Okay. What's related to this, in my opinion, interestingly enough, while she's out there pimping the rebates for cameras, she doesn't have enough time to deal with what could be a preventative solution. Gentlemen, reopening mental health clinics, because apparently, as reported by WBEZ, by Esther Yoon Ji Kang, mental health workers urged Mayor Lori Lightfoot to stop using police in crisis intervention teams. She didn't have time to come down and talk to them. Chicago mental health professionals, not just uneducated people off the streets, although, if they're going to rally for that, they should be respected as well. So Chicago mental health professionals and advocates delivered an open letter to Mayor Lori Lightfoot Thursday at City Hall, urging her to reconsider using police officers in her mental health crisis response pilot program. The letter, signed by more than 300 mental health professionals, asks the city of Chicago to adopt a non-police crisis response system for mental health emergencies. We can empathetically say that having a non-police crisis response program in Chicago would make our jobs much easier by reducing ethical dilemmas and moral injury, reads the letter, signed by psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors, and social workers who live and work in 47 of the city's 50 wards. The letter is part of the Treatment, Not Trauma campaign, which pushes for the passage of an ordinance of the same name. The Treatment, Not Trauma ordinance, co-sponsored by Alderman Rosana Rodriguez Sanchez of the 33rd, calls for a non-police response to mental health crises and increased funding for public mental health centers throughout the city. No, that's not the solution. Everybody buy a security camera, we'll give you a rebate for it, and register it with the Chicago Police Department so we can send everybody out and arrest, I don't know, some perps that might actually have mental health issues that the situation could go south really quick. The proposal is based on the Crisis Assistance Helping Out on the Streets program in Eugene, Oregon, in which a mental health crisis call is responded to by a nurse, an emergency medical technician, and a mental health crisis worker. Now, I do have to say, I believe that they rolled out a program here in Chicago last year, and we talked about this over at Hardlands Media, where they are now including mental health specialists to go with police on certain calls. But I think what they're advocating for here is not even send out police officers, to have specially trained mental health professionals in a separate unit to go out and deal with the stuff so that something does not potentially escalate. The open letter to Lightfoot touted the efficiency of Cahoots, as it's called in Eugene, Oregon, stating the program successfully responded to more than 24,000 calls in 2019. So you've got the data to back up the fact that the program that they're proposing is sound. If needed, Cahoots responders can contact the local police department for support, but they have only had to do that 0.006% of the time, the letter read. Moreover, from a financial standpoint, Cahoots estimates that the co-responder model saves the city of Eugene an estimated $8.5 million in public safety spending annually. The letter asks Lightfoot to reconsider her current pilot program called Crisis Assistance Response and Engagement, CARE, which involves a Chicago Police Department officer trained in crisis intervention as part of the 3-person response team that also includes a mental health clinician and a paramedic. Britt Holmberg, a licensed clinical social worker, helped draft a letter to Lightfoot. He was joined on Thursday at City Hall by other mental health professionals and advocates who brought along a poster-sized card. The front of the card read, "Treatment, Not Trauma," and displayed the photos of Chicagoans killed by police during a mental health crisis, including 19-year-old Quintonio Legrier. Inside the card was a letter to Lightfoot. "We've lost too many Chicagoans already. Having a mental health crisis in our city should not be a death sentence," Holmberg told WBEZ. Due to COVID protocols, police officers guarding the City Hall elevators would not let the group hand-deliver the card to the 5th floor, and instead called Cesar Rodriguez, Lightfoot's press secretary, down to collect the letter. If she was around, she could have come down and maybe, I don't know, shown some goodwill to the people, especially during this photo op, but maybe she wasn't there on a business day on the 5th floor. In an interview on Friday, Ellison Arwady, commissioner of the Chicago Department of Public Health, said the default response to many 9/11 calls and other emergencies had been to send in the police, but mental health professionals are often needed in those situations, Arwady added, and the city's CARE pilot the past several months has finally provided opportunities to include them. She said each call must be evaluated to determine if the threat to public safety is too great, but the city continues to work with state regulators to expand the number of calls in which mental health workers can be involved, Arwady said. Is it Arwady or Arwady? Arwady.
Definitely one of those two.
Thank you. However, she added that given the extreme nature of some calls, which sometimes include shootings, sexual assaults, and other crimes, the presence of police officers is necessary, as it was in the Anjanette Young raid. But the police officer's role is to ensure that the scene is safe and to ensure the safety of the responders and the person who is called, Arwady said. We would like these to be primarily health calls, but where there has been a shooting, there also does need to be a police role. Okay, that's fair. Okay, so Arwady said the city is close to rolling out a long-awaited alternate model where police officers would not be involved in crisis response. That program will be launched in a police district on the southwest side that includes parts of Gage Park and neighboring communities. The alternate response pilot is literally ready to go sort of any day here, she said. Kind of like the consent decrees that are being kicked down the road also? We reported on that like a week ago. Everything's always ready, but it's still not rolled out yet. The team's been hired. The training is done. We're waiting for the Illinois Department of Public Health to achieve final approval. Arwadi insists that both approaches to both pilot programs are necessary to help the city understand when and how to provide the most appropriate services. You know, maybe a prologue to that would be reopening a lot of the mental health clinics before they have to put extra people out. But I don't know, guys. Is that too logical?
Well, it would definitely be a support system for any type of program they wanted to roll out.
And it would be preventative because it would already be in place for people to hopefully get the help they need before they totally crack up, or have family members guide other family members or relatives or friends to getting the help that they need. Look, I know many people
go away.
But preventative, Jerry. We don't know what that word is. We prefer to use the word reactive. I don't
Mayor,
know.
you brought in Mayor Adams from New York, who is now involved in efforts to chase homeless people out of train and subway stations without providing them any kind of.
We're keeping a close eye on that model.
I'm sure you are.
Yeah, and I could see that happening. I could see that city doing that.
Get off my show.
Yeah, it's again, look, people do need help, and in this day and age right now, with inflation rising, evictions happening, people just struggling day in, day out, where it's, one bad day, everybody can lose everything. And it's starting to get really pathetic out here. And this city is, well, they're acting goofy. They're acting pathetic. And the people in charge aren't really aware of the every minute, every second that the average person has to go through. One parking ticket, one medical bill, all this stuff that's impacting us. I mean, it's severely, everyone's affected by it. And the thing is,
you don't want to have that one bad day. We all saw Joker.
Yeah, it's what it is really is, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And we're all on that clock, and we're all stressed out. Look, we are feeling it too. I mean, look, Harlan's Media, 99 Perspectives, the studio, we got lucky during this pandemic. We came very, very close to losing everything. And look, we have a team of people that we have to take care of. We have a lot of stuff we have to do. But, seeing out there are a lot of people with real issues and real problems. And there's no social safety net at all to help out anyone.
No. We see all the empty housing all across the city, and the solution is to build more empty housing that no one can afford to live in.
Only for the rich.
Remember, LaSalle Street needs city money now to redevelop that district because all the banks left, so they can draw in rich renters and rich retailers. Now, other mental health professionals said the city's current pilot is a start, but they are still concerned about the role police will continue to play. Even when you train police officers, it still doesn't necessarily reduce the potential for escalation or violent response on the part of police officers, said Leticia Villarreal Sosa, a professor and researcher at Dominican University, citing a 2012 study that showed crisis intervention trained police officers do not use less force than untrained officers. Villarreal Sosa added that police presence also stokes fear among undocumented immigrants, making them less willing to reach out for mental health help. While some opponents of the Treatment Not Trauma campaign cite safety as a reason to include armed officers in mental health crisis response, Villarreal Sosa said the CAHOOTS model, which is what we're using here in Chicago, and similar programs show that overall there aren't many situations that put responders in danger. Chicago's own data released recently shows the city's CARE pilot program has resulted in no arrests and no use of force, according to a WTTW report. Villarreal Sosa, one of the mental health professionals who signed the letter delivered to Lightfoot Thursday, said the city should also expand its network of public mental health clinics. There we go. Currently, Lightfoot's plan to expand mental health services relies on building a network of publicly funded clinics, guys? No.
Oh.
Private clinics. Private clinics that are going to get
got the money for it.
Right, but we're broke, but we've got money to pay private clinics instead of reopen the mental health clinics that were supposed to be publicly funded with the taxpayer money everybody is dishing out. But Villarreal Sosa says private clinics have long wait lists, experience higher rates of turnover due to lower pay for clinicians. Imagine that, lower pay for the clinicians when they're private clinics that are probably raking in huge contract money to operate within civic city service. lower pay for clinicians, and often lack the cultural competency needed to respond to various communities. If there's ever a time to really focus on access to mental health services and also non-police responses, it's right now, said Villarreal Sosa, referring to the increase in mental health issues during the pandemic, especially among youth and communities of color. Holmberg, the social worker, rejected the notion that police officers in the city's care teams have the training necessary to attend to people experiencing mental health crises. We knew Derek Chauvin was a CIT-trained police officer, he said, naming the Minneapolis Minneapolis police officer who killed George Floyd in 2020. Cops are trained to command and control. Diane Adams, a longtime advocate of public mental health clinics, said the lack of trust in police adds to the tension. People are scared and afraid. The police have made it so hard for us to trust them, the 66-year-old Auburn Gresham native said. And I'm recalling your story in the beginning of the show, Kit. I would be freaked out to have an unmarked big vehicle show up and have, look, I actually did have a big black unmarked vehicle come up behind me with the headlights off, but at least my officers were good-natured. I would have been very, very nervous had they been as belligerent and roided up as yours.
Well, here's the thing, because as soon as I saw that SUV, not to get off subject, but
it's related.
As soon as I looked at it and was staring at it, I realized I saw a vehicle like that before, because we were in an SUV that would patrol in the green zone in Baghdad. It was an armored SUV, and I was like, oh, this is an armored SUV. So either one, this person's very, very rich, they're a gangbanger that has a lot of money to buy this, or this is a freaking cop.
It's decommissioned military surplus that's given to local police departments.
Yeah. So I was looking, I was like, oh shit, so there we go. So that was my situation.
Adams added that Chicago's mental health care policy also falls short of Lightfoot's 2019 campaign promise to reopen shuttered public clinics.
Yeah, when's that
She
happening?
promised
Lori?
that. Right. No, we got to give out the rebates for the cameras, which everybody take advantage of it if you can. But you don't have to vote for her. She ran on that, said Adams, who received care from one of the city-run clinics after her son's 1996 shooting death drove her to depression and a suicide attempt 2 years later.
Jesus.
I'm a living witness that mental health care helps, Adams said. I came from nowhere to where I am now. The 5 city-run mental health clinics are managed by the public health department, but Arwadi, Lightfoot's toady, argues that public health departments are ill-equipped to be the primary source for such services, given reimbursement rates and other factors. You know what? She's such a fucking
lousy excuse.
She's horrible. Lightfoot's got Superintendent Brown as her lapdog, and she's on the enforcement side. And she's got Arwadi on the medical side. They are just doing her dirty work. They are like who was the press secretary for Trump who had the weird eye? Well, actually, any press secretary. Well, let's talk about what's her name, Psaki, right now.
Yeah, Jen Psaki right now.
All they do is they just lie for the person that they're out there fielding questions for.
Yeah,
and Arwadi's doing it.
Propaganda.
Right. So on a medical level, given the Hippocratic oath that Arwadi is a medical professional, a doctor, just basically carrying water for the mayor with this kind of BS, arguing that public health departments are ill-equipped to be the primary source for such services given reimbursement rates and other factors, while they will have the money to pour into private mental health clinics, as was referenced above, where they said that those are not equipped properly. I'm trying to scroll back up to what they said. All right, let me continue down. Because of the higher rates of turnover due to lower pay for clinicians and often lack the cultural competency needed to respond to various communities. Getting back to what Arwadi says is that no, the public solutions are ill-equipped. Instead, she said, federally qualified health centers and other direct care providers are better suited to provide behavioral health, with public agencies filling in gaps and focusing on preventative care. We are not healthcare providers, first and foremost, she said. It's super, super unusual for a public health department to operate a mental health clinic like when we look at this around the country. But they had them, and Mayor Fuckface Emanuel closed them.
Yeah,
it's not
unusual. It's just
priorities.
They don't want to pay for public services.
Lack of priorities. Arwadi said the city is looking for better ways to provide access to mental health service. They're looking under this rock. They're looking under that stone. They're looking under that plank of wood, but they don't have the money. Oh, this just
I looked under the bean, Jerry, and I didn't see any. I didn't see any money for public health clinics there. So I recommended to the Chicago City Council and to all the private business partners that we construct a second bean to look under for that money in Millennium Park because it's so important.
This is
so
why,
important to me.
This is why she's looking for that pot of gold.
Is that me gold?
What the hell are you?
I'm a leprechaun, me dear.
Here, this is what you're looking for, right?
Lost my eyes, startling, help! I'm the leprechaun. Garth, I'm the leprechaun!
Cool it, okay?
I'm the leprechaun!
Stop it, all right?
Don't try and steal me pot of gold!
Aren't you guys glad I had that cute? I still have that in the system from St. Patrick's Day.
Thank God.
I just had a stroke.
She touted the city's efforts to divert individuals from criminal court systems to health and social services, to provide mental health services to individuals at homeless shelters, which no one wants to go to, and to provide outreach to individuals using public transit, which they're chasing them out of when it's cold and they've got nowhere else to sleep. So anyway, Arwadi, Lightfoot, Brown, F you all. I'm tired of the excuses. I'm tired of the way they all carry water for this. I never thought I would see another mayor that I was going to loathe as much as Emmanuel.
But wait, by the way, I nearly forgot this. There's somebody that we have to thank. Remember, Rahm Emanuel shut down half of the city's mental health facilities. So let us give a big FU to Mayor Rahm Emanuel. Right?
Double FU to Mayor Rahm Emanuel.
He's the reason why we have this situation in the first place, too.
Yeah, and not just the mental health facilities, but also all those schools they closed. I mean,
54 Chicago public schools.
If you think about it, a lot of kids sometimes the only place they can turn if they're not going to a mental health facility is maybe like their teacher at school or something.
Yeah.
And so now they closed 50 plus schools. Consolidate a whole bunch of those. Teachers really can't give enough attention to the students like they used to be able to, I imagine. Just, the lack of resources or the dwindling available resources that the city is giving to public services is just, it's insulting.
Yeah, carry that thought one more moment because I just lost my story screen again. I apologize, guys.
Okay. I'll go ahead and filibuster. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that ring bell notification. If you're new to Chicago Corner, be sure to subscribe to this channel. It is a growing channel, and as we are covering as we're getting close to covering the 2023 Chicago municipal election cycle, be sure to tune in and subscribe and help us build this channel up so we can interview candidates and organizers that are trying to bring in much-needed change and support for Chicago Corner. So with that being said, it's very important that we keep on building this channel up so we can actually give you guys the news about what is happening in the city of Chicago. Jerry, take it away.
Thank you, Kit. Speaking of crime, anybody seen these three assholes?
Who are they? What they do?
They're the crew that beat and robbed the director of the Chicago Film Office.
Oh, my God.
Car, then went on a shopping spree at a suburban mall, police videos show. Now, I don't know him very well, but I have met Kwame Amoaku, who is the director of the Chicago Film Office. Very, very kind gentleman. He does a lot for the city of Chicago as far as helping to manage films and television shows that come into town that are seeking locations. He works with CineSpace Studios. This is just heartbreaking to see what happened to this man. Now, this comes from Real Chicago. It was reported by Barbara Roche. I actually know Barbara. I haven't talked to her for a while, but good article, Barbara. Good coverage. Friday, Real Chicago reported that beloved Chicago film director Kwame Amoaku was brutally attacked Wednesday morning. He posted on his Facebook page, "This AM, I was attacked, beaten, and my car stolen by 3 kids. Thanks to all who have reached out. I'm in the ICU and I'm going to be okay." His Facebook post was accompanied by a picture of an injured Amawaku wearing a neck brace in a hospital bed. New details have arisen in the ongoing investigation. According to a Chicago police report, the 51-year-old director was attacked twice by 3 people on the 2100th block of West 22nd Place on Wednesday morning. According to CPD, Amawaku noticed 3 males inside his car as he walked toward it around 7:46 a.m. He confronted the intruders. They then used various objects to brutally attack him. The group then fled in a gray Dodge Caravan that was waiting nearby. And let me also share here. Kwame is not a slight-looking guy. He's pretty well-built gentleman, and I understand why seeing these 3 young punks in his car he would respond the way he did, as unfortunately. Better judgment, maybe withdrawing, may have prevailed. I mean, who can imagine that these kids would attack him that way?
Well, let's go find them.
Yeah, according to police, this is my viewers' opportunity to be vigilant and look for these 3 assholes. There they are on security cam footage. When I say be vigilant, this is what I'm talking about. We got the story linked in the show notes below. Go look at the picture and see if anybody can identify these creeps.
Go get them.
According to police, they returned to the scene moments later and beat and robbed the victim again before leaving a second time. My dad was viciously attacked outside his home, his daughter wrote on Facebook. He will be unable to work or cook for himself. Please donate if you're able. You never think this would happen to your family until it does. A CWB Chicago report says Amawaku was taken to Mount Sinai Hospital in serious but stable condition. Thankfully, he's going to come out of this, but he had head and arm injuries, police said. He's since been moved to Rush. He posted on his Facebook page yesterday. Let's get these fuckers off the screen. I'm still here thanks to God's grace and mercy. I love you all. Thanks for the support from me and my family. I'm going to get through this with the love and support from you all. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot appointed Amawaku to lead the city's film office in July of 2019. Amawaku worked previously as the location manager for Chicago Fire and appeared as an actor in various locally filmed TV shows. According to the same CWB Chicago story, Meal Train fundraiser designed to provide meals for people in need. He's been established to help Amawaku as he recovers. Real Chicago sends our thoughts and prayers to the Amawaku family, and so does the crew here at Chicago Corner. Kwame, I don't think he's going to see this. I don't even know if he knows that I'm doing this show, but I wish him the best. He's a good man, and this shouldn't happen to him, let alone anybody. But
look, we got a couple people watching in the chat. Look, if you live in the city of Chicago, Chicagoland area, share this story out. You can find the rest of the stories in the show notes in the description box below. Look, I think here's the thing. What happened to that man was unfair, unjust, and look, law enforcement, let's double your efforts to get these 3 kids, because obviously they're doing something wrong, and they clearly there's something wrong with them to where they attacked him in that nature. So they need to be held accountable. Plus, they went on a shopping spree with his credit card. That is just downright deplorable. Like, no way, man. No. We got to find him. No.
Now, we can't presume it was racially motivated because they were in his car before he got there, right? Yeah. But it makes me wonder if these three creeps decided to escalate because Kwame's a black man, and they, you never know what people's horrible prejudices might be.
Yeah.
Anyway, we wish Kwame the best in his recovery. It's just really very sad.
Clearly. Hey, people, help out. Let's keep an eye out, because if they're going to do that to him and that nature, they're going to do it to anybody else. They don't care about age, obviously.
Well, I'm glad they got the security cam pictures. Look, the security cam pictures, which are probably available in high res elsewhere than in the article I shared, I would hope that someone's going to recognize these 3 and turn them in.
Yeah.
Super Patriot cheers. My mom was robbed. I was looking for the dude for days, never found him.
I'm sorry. Sorry that happened to you, Super Patriot. Sorry that happened.
I usually like to close the show on a happy note. Actually, we will be closing the show on a happy note. I forgot. Ed's going to handle that. But in the meantime, I have some other sad news to share from 2 very well-beloved and known establishments here in Chicago.
Dinkle's Bakery.
The thing about I've never eaten there, Ed, but I've always passed it. Where is it? Over on
It's on Lincoln Avenue.
Lincoln Avenue, right? Lincoln near Belmont.
Yeah, it's a bakery. It's been around for over 80 years.
That entire stretch of avenue is like you're in a little time machine. And although I've never gone in there, I've always thought I'm going to go in there. I guess I'm going to have to go in there now, like I did with Gulliver's Pizza when they shut down.
Yeah, you got until the end of the month to get your fill of hot pretzels during the morning and some delicious donuts and other baked items over there. Dinkle stuff, always really tasty.
It's sad when we lose these I don't know. These are
institutions.
Institutions. These institutions across our landscape throughout the city that hearken to another era, and kind of remind us of simpler times. And I don't know, just the what do you want? The give me a second. The what's the word that's escaping me? Not the delight. The draw. And the affection we have for smaller businesses, the familiarity and sense we have for these smaller businesses that were established all over the city. There's a comfort. That's the word I was looking for. The comfort that you get when you go into these older businesses that remind us of simpler times. Geez, that took me a moment to get to.
Yeah,
but so the article goes on to say, closing after April 30th, after more than 100 years on the north side. The bakery at 3329 North Lincoln Avenue on the border of Lakeview and Roscoe Village opened in 1922 under Joseph and Tony Dinkle. It's the Dinkle brothers. It's been run by 4 generations of the family, and questions about it being sold have come up before, but a closing sign was posted in the window Tuesday. I did go by there 3 months ago with a guest from out of town, and we went inside because we wanted to sit down, but it was still pandemic time, and they had closed indoor dining. It was only carry out, and we didn't stay. We went across the street to the Starbucks because we could sit there. But I'm fearful that pandemic may have contributed a lot to this, in the fact that they had to close their dining room and not have inside seating. To our customers and neighbors, thank you. 101 years serving you, the sign read, but it is time. Dinkles will close Saturday, April 30th.
Oh, 101 years. I was mistaken. I thought it was 80, but yeah. That's a long time.
Yeah. The bakery has become a mainstay in Chicago, with lines going out on the doors on weekends when people snapped up treats like pastries and donuts, and during foodie holidays like Fat Tuesday. Dinkles is also a longtime member of the Baker's Dozen, a secret society of leaders from the oldest family-owned bakeries in and around Chicago. The Baker's Dozen, a secret society of leaders from the oldest family-owned bakeries. That sounds like a group of Batman villains. We're the Baker's Dozen, the secret society of leaders from the oldest family-owned bakeries in and around Chicago.
No. Better yet. Why am I being reminded of HBO's Rome? With the orator? I don't know if you guys remember that, but there was an orator who was always reporting the news, and he was saying that this report has been sponsored by the Roman Bakers Guild, or by the Bakers Guild. True Roman bread for true Romans.
I see my dad is in the live chat. He says, stay off the Jack Daniels and your memory should improve, Jerry.
Oh, no. Jack Daniels improves the memory. It makes it better. Gets more flavor.
We'll defeat you, Batman. Us and our Baker's Dozen Society will give you a Danish that you will die for.
Straight from the bottle, Dad.
There we go.
Let's continue. Word of this closure spread quickly on social media, where Chicagoans lamented the loss. Customers poured into the shop Tuesday afternoon to stock up on their favorites. After Swedish Bakery closed, Dinkles picked up the slack for me. Now Dinkles is going, one person wrote on Twitter. May have to protect Lutz's now. Norman Dinkle, 79, and the longtime owner, said it was closing so he could retire. It's never a good time to close, so I've got a lot of mixed emotions, Dinkles said. It's a very traumatic day for me personally, for my stay and my customers. No one wants to see this, but it's time. I think that, that's why Gulliver shut down too, as a retirement thing. Just the time had come for the owners. The bakery had been in talks with a few business partners interested in buying the bakery, but deals to sell the business fell through because they didn't want to actually work in the business, Dinkle said. They want to buy the business and make money, but this is a business where you got to work every day, Dinkle said. And there he is. Having served the community for more than a century, Dinkle's Bakery became known for its handmade quality pastries. Dinkle's. Ooh, I'm just feeling the warmth now in my tummy from this.
There you go. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I got sparkles in my tummy.
What makes Dinkle's so special is we offer stability in a crazy world. And I think there's that comfort and familiarity level I was mentioning earlier. Okay, here it is. What makes Dinkle's so special is we offer stability in a crazy world and moment in time in which you can get something for your family or sit down and get a cup of coffee, Dinkle said. I'm going to miss that because it was a nice thing to offer, especially the last few years when this world was really crazy. The future of the iconic Dinkle sign, which hangs vertically on the side of the building, is uncertain, Dinkle said. Look at that. I love these historic pictures. You know, there's a wonderful Facebook group called Lost Chicagoland. I think it's Lost Chicago or Lost Chicagoland, where you can routinely find amazing photographs of Chicago in the previous century and decades. You can find photos like this. I mean, I found one, a photograph of my intersection right down the street from me back before I was even born to see what my neighborhood looked like over here at Western and Devon. I just find it fascinating when we're able to look at these old photographs and compare them with where we are now. I've got to figure out what's going to happen to the sign, Dinkle said. I'm told there might be some collectors' interest in it, but I don't know yet. Michael Elko lives in the Gold Coast, but said he travels to Dinkle's regularly to stock up on pastries. It's very sad they're closing because it's a very fine bakery, very, very fine bakery, and I'm sure all customers have their special orders, Elko said. Elko didn't know Dinkle's was closing until he stopped by the store Tuesday to pick up cheese and cherry strudels, he said. His other favorite is their layer cakes. So now I'm very sad, Elko said. It's one of the oldest and greatest bakeries in Chicago, period, let alone the neighborhood. So continuing on this theme, another great Chicago institution closed, I think, last year. And sadly, it's come to the point where people will be picking at the bones of what's left inside. Chicago Joe's over on Addison, which closed last year. They are now auctioning the restaurant's memorabilia, and even its marquee will be for sale. We're going to sell it to the bones. Everything is for sale, an auctioneer said. Fans of Chicago Joe's can take home a piece of the restaurant during an auction this month before the building is torn down. Chicago Joe's founders Chuck Kowalski and Al Ramsa opened the North Center fixture in 1988 to celebrate the idea of a regular Joe. They used vintage advertisements for the Chicago Daily News, seats from Comiskey Park, and boxing gloves in the restaurant's decor. The owners closed the restaurant last year due to the pandemic. Landrush Development bought the property from Chicago Joe owners last year. The developer plans to build just what we need, guys. You know what's going to be going up there?
Apartments.
But they didn't say if they're going to be affordable or not. But yeah, a 5-story apartment building in its place with ground floor space for a restaurant. Ahead of the demolition, the restaurant's owners contracted Donnelly Auctions to oversee an April 30th in-person auction to sell Chicago Joe's equipment and eclectic memorabilia, including the iconic Chicago Joe's marquee hanging over Irving Park Road. I'm sorry, it's on Irving Park, not Addison. Irving Park Road. The auction starts at 10 a.m. April 30th at the restaurant, 2250 West Irving Park Road. No online or phone bids will be accepted. We're going to sell it to the bones. Everything is for sale, Donnelly said.
You're a collector and you collect gigantic signs from restaurants and bakeries, this is your week.
Take a piece of Chicago history from Chicago Joe's. We're going to sell it to the bones. Everything is for sale, Donnelly said. The family only took 5 pieces out for themselves. Donnelly said most of the old signs, posters, and photos are vintage, not modern reproductions. Many of the restaurant's light fixtures are leaded glass installations, appear to have been recovered from older Chicago buildings and installed at the restaurant to add to its eclectic decor, celebrating local Chicago history. Now, I have a personal Chicago Joe story. When I heard they were closing last year, it made me sad because I recall back in 1992, sitting at one of the booth tables in Chicago Joe's with a friend across from me, trying to hammer out the details of what the movie poster key art would be for my first film, Solstice. And I literally drew on a napkin the layout for that poster that I had a good friend who was a painter eventually conceptualize and paint, which ended up becoming the key art for the movie. So that particular establishment, I remember when Guthrie shut down, it was personally what's the word? It was hurtful because we shot a scene over there, but luckily Guthrie's is reopened. But a lot of these little neighborhood Chicago institutions, take advantage of them for as long as you can. They shut down and closed, and I think turned Southport Lanes, which was an establishment over in Lakeview, I think last year again as a result of the pandemic. So we're losing a lot of great Chicago establishments and Chicago history here. It's sad.
It is sad. Very, very sad.
The article goes on to say, what I really like and respect about the family of Chicago Joes is the fact they were so sincere about wanting people to be able to have a part of Chicago Joes, Donnelly said. Keeping it for sale in the neighborhood, it just says something about the value of the family that ran in all these years. I wish I could afford to go buy something. I don't know that I could afford. I mean, I guess I should go buy and see, but I'm sure this stuff's going to be completely out of my price range. Anyway, some pictures in the article as reported by Block Club Chicago, showing some of the fixtures, decorations, memorabilia at Chicago Joe's. Great stuff. We'll be sad to see them go along with Dinkles, along with the aforementioned Southport Lanes that we didn't actually report as part of this update, but times are a-changing, guys.
Yeah.
Yes, Dad, it's Irving Park and Western. It's actually about 3 blocks east, 2 or 3 blocks east of Western on Irving Park. Yeah, it was not Addison. It's never good when these places close, Super Patriot. You know, as I mentioned earlier, I live off of Western and Devon, and there was this great old establishment, 2 great old establishments, the Northtown Theater on Western Avenue, where I saw Star Wars when I was 12 years old, with my dad taking me and my brother, I think after he was done with his shift over at Bell and Howell, which is gone from McCormick. And across the street, there was this great old place called Sally's Stage, which was a tribute to like the old time speakeasies in the 1920s where families could go and they could enjoy a live show. The inside ambiance of this place was like the 1920s. I mean, all these places that celebrated Chicago history are just disappearing. And of course, the Northtown Theater, which was another beautiful movie palace, that's been lost. Now there's a Wendy's there. Mm-hmm. It's sad. Anyway, I don't want to wallow in the sadness. There are a lot of good memories from these places, but Ed, can you take us out of the show with something that will be a happy note?
Well, certainly, Jerry. Everybody, did you know that every April 5th is National Pizza Day, Deep Dish Pizza Day?
Deep dish pizza day. Deep dish.
It's Deep Dish Pizza Day. You see how I did that fancy thing where I put a little thing in there to the regular National Pizza Day because it's Deep Dish Pizza Day.
Although regular viewers of the show that tune in every Tuesday and Friday will know that to Ed, every day is National Pizza Day, deep dish, thin crust, or otherwise.
He's right. So right about that. I love Chicago pizza, and deep dish is my favorite. And if you want to make deep dish pizza at home, it's actually not that hard. You could go to realdeepdish.com. That's REALDEEP dish.com. And you can find out how to make deep dish and Chicago Tavern style thin crust. And if you want to be dangerous, you can even learn how to make that caramelized crust kind of pizza that will probably set off your smoke alarms while you're trying to bake it.
Sounds delish.
Sounds delicious to me too, my friends. Sounds delicious to me too.
All right. So as we always close the show, Kit, do you have any news from Hardlands Media you want to share?
Well, there's a lot of stuff we're working on. There's some stuff I need to talk to you. Excuse me. Once we're done doing the show, boy, I'm coughing all over the place. But there's a lot of good stuff that we're working on at the studio, but I got to keep hush about it at the moment. But I'm really excited with how everything's going to turn out for Hardlands Media and the future of our network. So just got to keep hush on it. But if you But to our Chicago audience, if you want to see Hard Lens Media, you can check us out on Can TV. That's right, we have an exclusive television series. We are back on public television, Can TV. So there we go. Chicago
Corner will be contributing an episode a week also when I move into the studio on Tuesdays with Kit to do the national show. I'll have time while I'm in the studio to do an exclusive show for Can TV, which will hopefully bring more viewers over here to YouTube. So I'm excited about that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Dad asks, where's Dinkles? It's on Lincoln Avenue. Just, I want to say maybe two and a half blocks north of Belmont and Ashland at Six Corners, where that scene was shot in my Christmas movie with Mike Kelly, Dad.
I think it's just north of School Street, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Beautiful old neighborhood. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining me tonight to report this week's stories. As always, I want to it's on Lincoln Avenue, Dad.
Still there for at least till the end of the month.
We can go by and buy some pastries if you're up for it, Dad. If you want to come down into the city and venture the dangerous territory you always warned me about. So, gentlemen, thanks for joining me tonight. In the meantime, to all of my viewers this evening, please stay safe this week until we return Friday. Be vigilant. Watch out for each other. Stay safe. And remember, if it's happening on the streets, you will hear about it here on Chicago Corner. Stay safe and good night, everybody.